All right, welcome back, y'all. This is what we're doing this week on the heavy bag to get better at boxing, specifically footwork. This is what you're going to be doing on Monday and Thursday of the week. If you are in my online program and part of my program, we do have a footwork emphasis 2 days out of the week. We also have a head movement emphasis 2 days out of the week. And we have a hands emphasis 2 days out of the week. So this week, our combination that we're focusing on is a 1-1-2. Or double jab right hand. In the two, we are saying it's a cross. However, it could be any right hand as we start getting specific about how we're using these combinations against our opponent and how we're from a beginning level going to get better at boxing all the way to a pro level as well, and how we're going to use the heavy bag to do so. So, this is what we're doing as part of my emphasis for you. We have a warm up and a cool down, but this is our emphasis from an application standpoint. So Mondays and Thursday focus is going to be focused on footwork and specifically the half step. And what we're focusing on is what we're doing with our feet before we start the combination, what we do with our feet during the combination, and what we do with our feet after the combination. And our emphasis is going to be a half step, and I'll show you guys what that looks like as well. In addition to focusing on what we do with our feet before, during, and after the combination, we are also paying attention to what our opponent does with their feet before, during, and after the combination. So this week with us, we're focusing on the half step, and that's how we're going to start the combination, and that's how we're going to end the combination. And the combination for us, once again, is a double jab right hand or the 1-1-2 or the rear hand, once again, if we're changing it. So our emphasis on the bag would be, when I start this combination, I am starting with a half step to get closer to the bag. Then I'm starting the combination. Now I'm ending with the half step to get off the bag and end the combination that way as well. So if you notice, I'm not close enough or in range to the bag where I can hit the bag or the bag can hit me. The way I am going to get closer is by taking that half step. Now I start the 1-1-2. As soon as I'm done with the combination, we're going to exit with the half step. Quick little pause just in case we were to engage once again, or maybe block our opponent from their engagement and start a two-part. But we're going to take that half step and then we're going to get all the way out. So that's what we're going to do on the bag the entire time, and that's going to be our focus for you. Once again, if you're a beginner, start slow. We want good intentions on the bag. So do a minute at a time, 30-second rest. Once you move up, 30-second rest. Once you move up, 2 minutes. But the idea is to be intentional with what we're doing in the bag and focus on a way that we can apply this in the ring with our opponent. If you're a beginner, you don't have a lot of this choreography just yet because you're not used to sparring or you're not used to fighting. So this may be foreign to you. However, practicing on the bag like this is going to prepare you for sparring. If you're a pro, you've seen these patterns. This is just a way for you to weaponize your feet to get this 1-1-2 off on the opponent, because you don't have to be throwing a bunch of combinations. Keep it simple to go ahead and get those shots off. So now if we get into the drill and what it looks like, once again, I'm going half step in, then I start my combination, half step out, and then I get all the way off the line. I can move around the bag, I can feint if I want to, but when I start this combination, it's a half step first, half step out, and I'm back in. Half step first, then I'm back out. That was a different step that we did, but that's the idea of making sure that we have good intentions. I anchored out off of that. And if you're not aware of what this verbiage is, I have a footwork system for you guys, a course that you can get that explains all the verbiage that I'm using, just so it's easier for us to explain and be on the same page. But once again, only a half step, double jab, right hand, half step out, then I'm out. Only a half step, I'm not close enough to the bag, so I got to restart. Half step, double jab, right hand, half step out, then I go ahead and get back out. That's what the drill looks like on the bag, and that is the emphasis for us today for our footwork off of the 1-1-2, which you're going to do on Monday and Thursday. If you don't have that system or you don't have my online training, I suggest getting that, because it's going to have details of what you need to do on a day-to-day basis to get better at boxing, from a warm-up to a cool down, and what I just explained to you right now, the emphasis on the bag. So using our feet and understanding what we do before we start the combination, as we're in the combination, and then when we go ahead and get out as well. So we got in with the half step, then got into our 1-1-2. We got out with the half step and then disengaged completely before we started the combination again. And our intentions were focusing on what we do with our feet before we start the combination, what we do with our feet as we start the combination, what we do with our feet afterwards, and then on the flip side as well, when we're visualizing our opponent, what our opponent does with their feet before their combination, during their combination, and after. That is the footwork emphasis this week on the heavy bag. If you don't have access to the heavy bag, that's the beautiful thing about boxing. You can do the shadow boxing as well. But that's the end of it. Make sure y'all get after it, and I'll see y'all in the next one.